Hey guys, so today I'm gonna head outside. We're gonna do some yard work today. It is January 1st, which is crazy to me that it's 2020. I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I thought this day would never come. That we finally got in the 20s, but today I'm actually gonna go outside because it is about 50 degrees outside, so it's still a little bit cold, but it's sunny and it's dry. So I'm going to do some maintenance on the front beds because they really need it. I actually never did fall cleanup on them at all, so like all my echinacea died and have gotten like super gooey and disgusting. It's embarrassing to even say, but I've just been super busy and haven't really worried about it once that first hard frost hit. And then I'm also going to come around and I think I'm going to try to dig up some old irises that I have here in my side bed. It's not even really, I can't even really call it a side bed. I didn't do any work on it last year, mainly because it was completely overgrown with weeds and mint, believe it or not. And it just, if any of you are familiar with mint just completely took over, and like there was just a ton of grass in there too. So I just honestly cut it to the ground and kept it like pretty much mowed. So, but there are tons of irises intermixed in there. I guess the previous people who lived here did plant irises. So I don't know if it's okay to dig them up in the winter, to be completely honest. I'm a beginner at gardening. I gardened with my dad as a kid, but like I have no actual technical knowledge. I tried Googling it. I couldn't find much about, like they said you're supposed to dig them up between late summer and early fall, and they didn't say like what happens if you don't do that. So I'm just gonna dig them up anyway because I want to get that garden completely bare and ready for work when I finally get to that point where we can plant stuff, and I don't want to have to do all of this and waste valuable planting time. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody but me, but that's essentially what we're gonna do. So yeah, hope that you enjoy. Come along. Hey guys, welcome back. So I just thought I would jump in here and do a voiceover to explain what I did in this video. Um, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So here I was just showing you that I am actually only using some sewing scissors. I honestly don't have a lot of tools because I've just started gardening in these past 2 years, and this was in January, so this was a couple months ago from when this is going to get posted. Um, so I literally was just using what I have. I don't know if you guys are like that too, but sometimes when you're first starting out and you've already bought quite a few tools, you kind of just improvise. So I'm not saying I would suggest this, but I did sterilize the scissors before I used them. So, and it worked fine. So, hey, you make it work. But here you can actually see me kind of peeking at the lavender and just looking around, and I really probably should have cut it back even a little bit farther than I actually did. Um, but funny enough, now I can say from the future that it actually flushed back really well. It looks really good in the front bed right now. Um, it did have some things die through the winter, like some parts of it, but they're starting to come back a little bit, which is great. And I'm really hoping that they will flush back even further, but I think I will be more aggressive this next season. Honestly, maybe I should go out there and do that now and just go ahead and cut them out, because right now it's April, so they still have a lot of growing to do. So I honestly might cut them back to the ground. Um, I do have one for some reason that got really spotty, so I went ahead and put some pesticides on it. Just some Bonide like insect killer. I'm hoping that it wasn't spider mites because I did see like a spider web in the middle of one of those. So anyway, I wish I had a video to show you guys what I'm talking about, but maybe I'll do that next time. I'll show you guys. So either way though, it did work. They looked a lot more tidy through the winter, and I thought that To be honest, I thought they were going to die off as we got more harsh weather, but because this winter was so mild, they never did. So I could have honestly not even trimmed them up, but it at least made things look like I did clean up a little bit, and I think it looked a little bit more tidy rather than just having dead portions and stuff like that. So I did end up cutting a lot of the irises off just to trim them up a little bit and make it so that they didn't flop so much because they weren't standing upright because I had transplanted those that year. I haven't put the new ones in yet. I was just cleaning up the old ones here. Um, and honestly, I probably should have just went ahead and left them. They might have straightened up on their own. I think, I'm just learning as I go, and to be honest, I think I'm doing a lot of unnecessary stuff here. Uh, it's up to you guys. Like I said, we just had such a mild winter that they didn't even really die. And now that they're growing back like cut off without the pointy tips, and I don't really like that. But I think if it had been a normal winter, it would have been fine for me to trim them up. So either way, it just depends on what you guys want. I just wanted things to look tidy and like I actually cared about the garden even though it was winter. And funny enough, you can see here in the front my pansies in that little row, and you can see it here in the second clip. So I have these pansies here in the front of the bed that I'm walking over right now, and they actually survived through the winter. I was so surprised. I guess I shouldn't have been, um, since they are a cold weather plant, but I don't know, I expected them to die off, but since we had such a mild winter, I was able to reuse them in my spring bed, which was super cool, and I don't know, I just felt super satisfied that they actually survived and were able to just give a little more before I had to actually tear them out or relocate them. I'm going to try to preserve them this summer by moving them into a shady area, so we'll see how that goes. I'll definitely keep you guys updated. So in here, I'm just kind of cleaning up, actually right there where I'm at right now. I'm pulling some dead leaves off of the hydrangea and just kind of cleaning that up. I didn't trim anything um, off the hydrangea, or did I? I don't think that I did. Mainly because I wasn't 100% sure about when it was setting its blooms and all that stuff, but I have an Incredible um, white hydrangea. I don't think that you can get Incredibles not white, but correct me if I'm wrong below in the comments. And I had just gotten it that year, and I was still a little confused about what, like how all that worked. Um, but I did learn that that actually blooms on new wood, so I could have trimmed it up perfectly fine here, but I decided not to, just to be safe. And truthfully, it's small enough; it probably doesn't really need that much of a trim. I did trim it just recently, just to make all the branches even, but otherwise, it's been pretty low maintenance, which is super nice to have a plant like that. Um, so yeah, so here I'm just going ahead and doing pretty much all the same thing. I stacked up all the lavender on the porch because I ended up saving it and drying it and putting it in little bags to put in our um, like in our drawers and stuff, like a little, what do they call those, scent bags? And yeah, it worked. They definitely aren't as fragrant, and I think it was just because it wasn't the blooms. When I was cutting them, they smelled super fragrant, but as they dried, it got less fragrant. So definitely, if you guys are interested in knowing, you pretty much need the blooms if you want something to be fragrant for a long time, at least as far as I know. Um, so anyway, but but that's what I did. I ended up saving it just because it smelled so good while I was cutting it. But if you guys are interested in doing anything with lavender, I definitely would suggest harvesting some of the blooms. And funny enough, I actually didn't get any blooms from the lavender. I had just planted it that year before. So 2019, this is 2020 that you're watching. So I had planted them in 2019 and didn't get any blooms from them. So I'm really hoping that 2020 season will bring some lavender blooms for me. Um, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I will definitely keep you guys updated and take you along with me. So here I'm just going ahead and cleaning out the side bed that I had been working on. This was a huge project that I ended up finishing this winter slash spring, I guess. And Mainly just because this bed was really neglected. This was actually the only garden bed that really had any flowers in it when we moved in, and they were just these irises, and they had gotten to this point where there were so many of them in the bed, and I think they were overcrowded or something. They did get full sun. It was pretty dry in that soil, so irises should do well in that situation, but they didn't bloom at all. And I think some of it too may have been that not only were they overcrowded, but also they had a ton of weeds in there. It was pretty much grass, like all around there. And so maybe the grass was sucking up some nutrients from the soil, or maybe they didn't get enough water. I'm not sure exactly what happened with those. But because they didn't bloom that season, the 2019 season, I decided here in 2020 to go ahead and dig them all up because I thought they were overcrowded, really, more than anything. But as I started digging them up, I realized too, and you'll see it here in just a minute in a clip, that there were like big gaps and holes in them, in some of them, and they still look fine above ground, but below ground, I'm not sure if maybe a pest was getting to them and eating them, but I ended up throwing a lot of them away and just keeping the ones that looked the healthiest and replanting those in the front bed. Um, and they're actually doing really well. I can testify that they are. So I'm excited to see what happens this year. Hopefully they'll still bloom. They are getting a bit more water in the front bed, so hopefully that won't make them too upset. Um, but yeah, so anyway, you're probably going to go ahead and hear me talk a little bit about my plans for this bed here in just a second. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that this audio is going to be terrible because I don't actually have my mic set up quite yet. So I'm probably going to do a voiceover here, but I figure I'll talk through it just in case I don't do a voiceover and the audio isn't that bad. But this is the bed that I did and yesterday, so it's completely done. I was able to get as much of the mint out as I possibly could. All of the weeds are gone. It's pretty much just clean, and it's got some mulch on top of it. This little corner I am going to edge out eventually in the spring and make it like rounded, but I just haven't done that yet. That'll probably be another thing that I'm going to do. But these are all of the irises that I was able to get out yesterday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this audio is gonna be crap. So, like this one I will probably save, but you see what I mean, actually? Like, look at all those holes. I'm pretty sure that that's borers. Ooh, I'm pretty sure that that's borers. So definitely tell me what you guys think. I'm not sure if that's just where the roots come out, but this one's like hollow and mushy. So that one's definitely getting tossed. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're gonna do today, is we're just gonna go through all of these and hopefully we'll be able to save some for next year. Okay, so I ended up with about, I don't know, maybe 20 here, 20 or 30. I'm really bad at guesstimating. And I just tried to pick the ones that looked like they had the healthiest roots and didn't have as many holes. And then if they had a huge hole like the one I showed you guys earlier, like if they had a huge hole in the middle, I just went ahead and threw those away. I probably threw away a lot more than I needed to, but I just wasn't sure if there's a disease or something. So I wasn't sure if there was like a disease or something in them, so I just decided I would go ahead and throw those away. Since I only have a few, I think I might go ahead and try to plant them. So I'm gonna try to see if I can find some place to put them that's not in this bed right here. So yeah, if I edge that out, then I probably would be able to put them there. Although I would have to dig them up anyway, because my plan is to edge this out and then put like a winter, no, I'm sorry, not a winter gem, a Monte Bruno or something, one of those little winter gem. I could do winter gem too. Boxwood, like one of the little boxwoods that look really fluffy. I think those look really cute. I don't like the rounded boxwoods as much, so I don't know. I might just go ahead and try to store them like I originally said. So I did end up planting them, and I'm just showing you here what I ended up doing. You can see that Nandina in the middle, and then I planted both around. There's the Heidi. She was sitting out there with me. That's that puppy. Anyway, so I'm showing you the other side too. So I just kind of made each iris a little bit more full in the beds, and they actually look really good now. So it definitely worked. Hopefully they'll bloom for me. Um, but that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you guys come back and share with me as I do more gardening things. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!